Good morning, buenos dias. Welcome, everyone. I hope you are well. Focus on what you can control. My name is Patricia Mota, and I'm currently serving as President and CEO for the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, a national nonprofit whose mission is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent, providing the insight, access to development for our community to be successful in their careers. Quick announcement, because it's happening tomorrow. Those of us who are in transition, looking for that next career opportunity, we have our virtual career fair taking place tomorrow, beginning at 11 a.m. Central Time. So please go to the aceonline.org website to get additional information, to sign up for free, and to network with nearly 50 employers that will be there wanting to connect with you. And today, make sure you have your cafecito ready to go, because we're going to get to talk about it a little bit more with our special guest today, Bienvenida, who is Pâmela Caballero, and she is the Talent Acquisition Manager for U.S. and Global Commercial at Astellas Pharma U.S. Good morning, Pâmela.
Good morning. Bom dia. Buenos dias, Patricia. Thank you so much for having me today.
Bon dia to you as well. We are excited to have you and engage in our conversation. Do you have your cafecito ready to go?
I have it. I'm all
Awesome.
good here.
I hope you all tuning in have your cafecito ready to go as well. Get your questions. Please share, especially if you know any job seekers. Make sure you're sharing this video, this live stream with them. So, Pâmela, usually our first question is, how do you like your cafecito, your coffee, or your morning beverage of choice?
I'm a coffee person, Patricia. Like, people try to, tell me that I should move from a coffee to a tea. But no, I'm a coffee person. I like it super strong. I love Colombian coffee. I love Brazilian coffee with no sugar on it. So that's how I like mine.
I love the sugar. I think I've gotten used to it and better at not including sugar, because I love coffee so much. And if I have that much of it, you want to make sure you're careful with the sugar.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So we have a diverse audience tuning in our social media outlets, and anywhere from young professionals to those that have been fairly experienced. And one thing that is so critical is that we shed light on the diversity of our guests, right? And so part of that is sharing your story about your cultural and your professional background. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I grew up in a very, I would say, like multicultural family, right? So my father, he's from Spain. My mom, she is Brazilian. So I kind of like, my brother and I, our family environment was already, a different, like from that perspective, which is great. Like, it kind of like truly helps me understand the importance of, working with different people, the importance of becoming like a global company, for example, which is like the movement that we're seeing at Astellas. So I am Brazilian. I'm born and raised down. I'm still located in Brazil, actually, right now. I do work for the US, but I'm still located in Sao Paulo because of the pandemic. And we wanted to, stay close to our families, and family and friends, right? So it was so, I'm so grateful that Astellas gave me that opportunity to still, did not need to relocate, I would say, in the middle of COVID. But that's like my personal, like I would say, background. I'm 34 years old. I'm married. I don't have kids yet. Joined Astellas. Do have a dog though, which is like he is my kid. Trust me. I joined Astellas a couple of years ago. So I joined Astellas 7 years ago. I was the HR business partner, supporting like primarily the commercial side of the group down here in Brazil. Left Astellas for less than a year. I went to Merck, and then rejoined Astellas. So my career trajectory is a little bit different from that perspective. And most recently, like a couple of months ago, 8 months ago, I joined the talent acquisition team in the US. And I have a lot of focus on recruiting for the commercial positions, especially like non-field positions, and global roles as well.
The beauty of remote work, right? I think that's great that you're able to be in Brazil and lead these initiatives for the U.S. for Astellas, and that Astellas offered you the opportunity to do so during this time, right? I think that's a whole nother big topic in terms of what the work place will look like in the next couple of months with everything changing. So we're looking forward to discussing more about that in a future topic. And I've also seen, Astellas in terms of really posting for the virtual career fair and the opportunities. And so folks that are tuning in, definitely look at their website and see what's available, and connect also with Pâmela. She's on LinkedIn as well. One thing before we talk a little bit more about any tips and specific opportunities that Astellas has available is getting your perspective on HACE's theme for the year, which is we lead at the intersection of identity, equity, unity. Identity, which you spoke on with your own personal background and experience, right, is embracing the intersectional identities that we each represent. The equity piece is workplaces, processes. How are we building those equitable processes internally? But also as individuals, how are we advocating for self? And the unity is being allies across communities. And so what comes to mind for you, Pâmela, when you hear that?
That's a great point, because when I was transferred from Brazil to the US, right, like I was so concerned of, well, like I'm a Hispanic person, right? Like moving to a different country. I just wanted to find myself there, right? Like, and thrive and succeed and add value to Astellas, and in the end of the day, like be happy as well and find my own like purpose in a new country. So to me, like those three key points: identity, equity, and unit, they all have to do with like us building an inclusive culture, I think, like in the companies, like building a culture where like people can be who they are without needing to change them to fit the organization, right? Like empower them so they can have a voice. They feel that they are being listened, right? And to me, that's it. And when I was transferred, like the culture that we have at Astellas, we're from that perspective, and in many others, but especially that one that we're discussing today, it's so strong, Patricia, that I quickly adapt myself and found like what I was looking for, I would say. And really like the company truly addressed, I would say, like a couple of my concerns as well from that matter. So to me, that's it. Like, how do we build like a very inclusive culture, right? Like, and how do we empower people so they can thrive, they can succeed, they can be listened, and they don't need to change, right? Because that's the beauty of all of us, like working together. We all have like a different background. We all have a different, like ethnicity. We all have like different experiences, but in the end of the day, that's truly, like what brings, I would say, strategy, right? And different results to a company. So yeah, to me, it's all related to building an inclusive culture.
No, and great points. I think, and a shout out to all of our HACE Brasileños, because we do have several that have gone through our programs, and it's always, an interesting conversation. It's like, well, when I came to the US, I'm Hispanic, the Latino community, and we embrace our fellow Brasileños as well. And, the equity piece is really meeting individuals where they are. And I think the fact that, you shared your examples in terms of working at Astellas, and workplace or work options is another way that employers are meeting that, and really embracing who you are to build that inclusive culture. Those of you tuning in, would love to hear from you in terms of what are you looking for, specifically employers, when it comes to having that inclusive workplace, that equitable workplace. Let's talk more about the virtual career fair. So as a company that will be looking to hire tomorrow, I mean, you're hiring throughout the year, but I know you will have dedicated folks, recruiters that will be at the virtual career fair tomorrow, May 20th. What advice do you have for those that are planning to attend?
Yeah, and just to add to that, Patricia, so tomorrow we're actually going to have like a very hybrid team of like people representing Astellas. So I'll be there with another colleague from the talent acquisition team. So we're going to be recruiting, right? Then we're going to have a hiring manager recruiting live for one of the roles that we have opened right now, which is like super nice as well. And we're going to have some members of our Hispanic EIG. So the goal is really, like to have a great group and very hybrid group of people to talk with candidates and address all of their questions and, like network. So just wanted to share that with you as well. In regards to your question, I think what's important is it's really like to research, right, about the research about us, like research about the company, right? We have a very complete like website that talks a lot about our culture, our mission, our vision, our values. How do we the efforts that we have around D&I, diversity and inclusion. So make sure you take a look on that before you join the fair, so you're prepared, right? Like you have your questions in mind and you have like some talking points to discuss with the representatives. I think also taking a look on the job openings that we have, right? Because the goal was really to promote like roles across Astellas. So we have roles from sales to scientists, right? So I think like taking a look on the roles that we're promoting through our career webpage as well, that would be interesting.
Yeah, so that's also answering Niraj's questions, our fellow colleague that's on there, is in terms of tips. So what we heard is making sure you're doing your research, that you're going to the Astellas website, for example, any of the employer's website, researching what career opportunities are available. And as Pâmela mentioned, it's anywhere from sales to the sciences, right? So it's very broad. So there's something for everyone, different skill sets to be able to explore, and come ready with what are those opportunities that you have questions. Come ready with your questions. So as you meet with the recruiter, in this case, there'll be a hiring manager, the EIG folks, so they're employee
impact groups.
Impact groups. I remember they're a little bit different because other companies have ERGs, BRGs,
right.
business resource. So impact groups are what they call it at Astellas. So that's great. It's a good diverse representation to get different perspectives and hear what's in it. What does Astellas bring to the table for that candidate or that potential employee? So what roles, you mentioned there's a hiring manager. Is there a specific role that we should be aware of, or roles that you want to shed light with our audience here today?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're promoting 7 roles, right, tomorrow. So we are promoting a role under the medical affairs team. We have a systems programmer role, so more like a ITIS position. We have a sales role as well. And the interesting thing about the sales role is that we're promoting one specific opportunity for like a territory like in the US, but the goal is really like to build a pipeline around that position. So we want people to take a look on the name of the job opening is sales representative. So we want people to take a look on this role specifically, and regardless of your location, post for it, because this is like a super high volume and good role like for people to post. And we happen to have, like this position open a lot. So that's one thing I wanted to share. We have a manager role for insights and analytics team. And we do have 2 roles connected. So one connected to the scientist group and the second connected to the research group. So 7 opportunities.
Wow. So, and specifically one, for example, you said that there would be a lot more. You're looking to build a pipeline. So no matter what location you're at, make sure that if that's something of interest, that you apply. We have a question from George or Jorge here. It says, from your point of view, what profession is in more demand in 2021, and is there a specific skill set that we should develop for new hires or career growth? I think that's a great question. What are your thoughts, Pamela?
Well, I talk about, like our reality at Astellas, right? So the sales role that I just mentioned, that's one that will have a lot of focus on it, and it's an oncology sales representative role. So oncology, rare disease, if you want to work for a pharma industry, that's a skill that, you should be focusing on. Let's not talk about like the sales opportunities, right? Like the other groups across Astellas, like the global teams, they do have lots of openings as well. So global mindset, global vision, working, cross-collaborating with other groups outside the US, right? Like regardless of their location, that's another skill set that we highly, consider, just because of the global teams that usually have like lots and lots of great opportunities. So commercial strategy, market access. But I would say, so Georgie, like to your point, I would say, like if you want to focus your career on sales, commercial, oncology, rare disease, market access, those are like skills that are truly important for us. But if you want to focus your career path on more like global opportunities, for sure, like global vision, working with global teams, cross collaborating with groups outside the US, that's something that in terms of like skill set, that's something important as well.
Yeah, no, all great tips. We'll have time for maybe one more question if you want to put it on there. I want to just highlight. Notice as Pamela was sharing the specific skill sets. Yes, there are those technical skills, but more and more, the future of work, we're looking for those soft skills, right? Global mindset, intercultural competencies, communication, right?
Ability to adapt.
Agility, right? That's all, I think at some point I was reading an article maybe 10 years ago, those were at the very bottom of the skill set list. Those are at the very top, right? Yeah. And of course, all the technical capabilities. Why do you think, Pamela, it's important to partner like organizations like HACE, for example, for these efforts? And I do want to give a shout out to your head of diversity and inclusion. Eloisa Domingo did an amazing presentation during our diversity roundtable. So there's engagement throughout the organization with HACE, from leadership to your EID group to like folks like yourself. Why is it critical that we have these strategic alliances?
Yeah, she's great, right, Patricia? We're so glad to have her, like on our team. And it's just awesome that at Astellas, we have a division that focus only on diversity and inclusion, right? It's like a true, pillar that concentrates all of the efforts that we have connected to that. And I think it's a great message to the market, right? So to me, I think partnering with you guys, for example, like we can connect a couple of dots here, like by partnering with you, right? So we can promote our brand, especially across like Hispanic talents, like me, like you, like everyone else that's on, like this call today. I think we can also like leverage the work that we do with the Hispanic EIG and with the other EIGs as well. And I know you guys you partner with the Hispanic EIGs for like such a long time now, and we're expanding that partnership, right? We're truly like not only partnering with you from an HIG perspective, but also from a business perspective. So I think that brings a lot of results to us as well. And it provides us the opportunity to build like pipeline, right? Like to network with your community, to get to know people better, and really like promote the roles that we have. And even if we don't have, we build pipeline for future opportunities, right?
Yeah.
And then
pipeline
that becomes like an organic process.
Yeah. Exactly. And in the pipeline, I also see it as relationships, right? I think it's critical for us to always be establishing those relationships along the way so that if and when you are looking for your next career opportunity, you have that connection, you're part of that pipeline. And so leverage assets to support those of you tuning in, right, that are looking for that next career opportunity, or maybe not now, but to engage with us so that if and when you are.
Yep.
We have one question, so I know we'll go ahead and try to get this one in. It is very different now hiring millennials than previous generations. Can you weigh in the college experience versus work experience or virtual certifications? There's so much more virtual. I want to say maybe interpret this as how can you apply college experience, right? And in terms of the work, or what do you think, Pamela?
How do you weigh college experience versus work experience, or virtual certifications? Well, I think it all depends on the role, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So at Astellas, we have very interesting programs for entry-level career professionals, right? And regarding like the certifications and work experience, if you're looking for like a technical career path, like the certifications are like key, right? You want to make sure that you have them. And I would weigh them like more, they're like, to me, they're more important than their work experience for technical positions. So I honestly think it truly like depends. It depends on the career path you want to follow. And regarding the millennials question, is it very different now with this generation hiring millennials than previous generations? So I think it's not. I think it is different, to your point, and I think we need to be prepared from a company perspective to hire millennials, right? So I'm 34 years old, and I work with people that are like 20, 21, 22. The way they think is different. The way their level of experience is different, but adds so much like to my background, right? So it is different, but I think we need to prepare the leaders, prepare the companies, prepare, like our culture, and make sure that we work well, like across generations, right? Like,
and not just millennials, but Gen Z, right? That's also not only part of the current, but will be an increased part of the workforce. And so much there, so much more we can talk to. I want to give you just a second, Pamela, to share something that you're hopeful for, or one last piece of advice.
One last piece of advice. Just wanted to say that I'm super excited with the opportunity to, keep talking to you, keep networking with you on the career fair tomorrow. And I want to congratulate you, Patricia, for, putting this together. Not only the leadership summit that you guys had a couple of weeks ago, but the career fair as well. I think it's a very interesting way to promote network. And again, another opportunity for us to talk, to exchange experiences, to get to know ourselves better. We've been tested in so many ways over this past year, right? Like it's been tough on all of us, especially like with COVID and the pandemic. But together we're beating it, right? Like, and we'll get there.
We'll get there. Gracias, Pamela. And those of you, check out Pamela tomorrow.
Thank you.
Visit her at the Astellas Virtual Career Fair booth, and all of her colleagues that will be joining us. And thank you for tuning in all the way joining us from Sao Paulo, Brazil today. And to all of you, please share, like, comment, y hasta la próxima. Take care.
Yeah, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.